How do? How we doing? You okay?
Good, mate. Good, good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The weeks.
Good, good, good. Of course, we have to introduce ourselves. Just like randomly jumping in and saying hello there, you know.
Intro today, but
Yeah, are we recording or not? But as always, it's the Winning Edge podcast. I'm Rick. John, how are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Busy, and different few weeks, which has been interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mate, really good. Thank you. Really, really good. Busy. That's definitely a blooper at the start, but we can leave it in, can't we? You know, because who gives a shit, right?
I might be
But
moving towards editing this shit myself soon, so everything.
yeah, well, yeah, we're going to talk about that, aren't we, today? So
My version of editing will be that looks all right to me, and
that's it.
post.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah, and post, yeah. But yeah, mate, all good here. Thank you, mate. Busy as always. Life is good. You've had a really hectic. Let's get straight in. You've had a really hectic and really hectic few weeks and a lot of changes going on, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I think the biggest one is been to my routine the last few weeks. So I won't bore you with the full story, but obviously, with my business, the gym business, I don't tend to do much on the gym floor myself anymore, if anything. But one of my boxing coaches who does a lot of my classes, mostly the evening classes, wanted to take some time away. His wife's having a baby, wanted like 3 months off. Long story. I'm like, fuck, 3 months off? I was like, you know that it's your wife that's having the baby, right? Not you. So anyway, long story short, I was kind of like, look, 3 months off is not a thing. So you're either, you're either quitting or or you're not, right? But I saw it as an opportunity. Like the classes, the last sort of, last year, the back end of last year, particularly, were kind of, going downhill a little bit. The numbers were not there. I didn't feel things were kind of maybe getting done the way I would like them to be getting done, and I saw it as an opportunity. A few things happened at the back end of last year that made me go, right, fuck it, okay, let's get your head back fully in your own game, your own fucking gym, and what's going on there. And so I made the choice to go, okay, like anything, right? You want something done right, fucking do it yourself. I talk a good game. So I was like, I'm going to take the fucking classes back on myself. I will look to hire someone, but I'm going to get them fucking busy again. I'm going to do it my way and fucking, rebuild that boxing community that I want in the gym. So for the last 2 weeks, I've been coaching all the evening classes from like 5 till 7, 5 till 8, some nights, couple back-to-backs, which is not fucking me. Like, I've been getting home when I normally go to bed. And I'm like, what the fuck? So, but it got me thinking about habits, because I was saying to Danny, I was like, you know what? I don't think I've worked in the evening, barring the odd something, for like 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an early morning person.
Yeah.
Always have early mornings. And like, I get up early. I've always had early morning clients, even working within the gyms, get in early, do my thing. And definitely the last 10 years, out the door by mid-afternoon a lot of the time. And then, fucking power nap, get up, do a bit more, whatever, have some fucking dinner, and I'm in bed, falling asleep on the sofa at like 9 o'clock. And I've told myself, probably for most of my life, I'm an early morning person. I don't later in the day, blah, 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 blah. Even though, back in the day, we both used to teach classes at night.
Yeah.
Both had fucking clients at night. Back when I was coaching out of SBG, my classes were at night. So it's not like I've not done it. It's just my head always goes, I prefer in the daytime. But to be honest, this last couple of weeks have been fucking good. Like, it's got me out of my comfort zone a little as far as what time of day I do shit. Like, I've been getting up in the morning and not coming into the gym. But also, for the first couple of days, it's been a bit lost. I'm like, the fuck do I do if I don't get up and have my coffee, a bit of breakfast? And I'm like, a couple of emails and shit to do. And I'm like, because most of my stuff, albeit I've got to run a business, it's a lot of crunching numbers. It's a handful of emails here and there. And a lot of stuff is still practically being in and around the gym, to be honest, is where my value is.
Yeah.
But I've been like, fuck, well, I'm not going to work till 8 o'clock at night and go in at 6 o'clock in the fucking morning. I'll come in later in the day. So I've been doing that. Kind of feel fucking good. Classes have been busy the last couple of weeks. Last couple of nights and everything been full, to the point where even last night I had a guy come in that I was like interviewing, and I said, right, come in, teach a class. I'll introduce you to the guys and whatnot. And a few guys turned up last night that hadn't been coming because I think the class has all been talking a bit and they were expecting me to teach, and then I felt guilty because I wasn't teaching. I was like, so this is such and such, he's going to teach tonight. And they're all like, what, you're not teaching? So it's one of them double-edged sword. I don't want to create this expectation that it's me every fucking night forever, but definitely an eye-opening reminder of, like, which will lead me to a question I want to ask you in a minute. Like, I've spent the last year really trying to, like, go into the online world a little bit, because I see the online world as being able to potentially build a bit more of the life I actually want. As in, I don't have to be stuck in one spot. But I fucking hate it. And I've realized coaching again, I fucking love it. Like, time flies by, especially when I'm coaching. I coach the classes and the fight stuff I prefer way more than just personal training. And the time flies by. I'm not tired. I might be a bit tired beforehand. And it gives me a buzz. I get that instant kind of gratification. You know, at the end of the class, everyone's fucking buzzing and fucking energy and da-da-da-da. And I realized that kind of, as hard as it is now I'm older, it is still really what makes me tick. It's why I love doing what I do. The online stuff, there's no real instant gratification. It's a lot of sitting around posting and fucking selling yourself and all shit that I don't like. And I just started thinking, and again, it's only been a few weeks, so look, I mean, we might come back on in a couple of weeks. I'm like, I'm fucking done with working at night. I hate this shit. I'm not doing it anymore. But it did get me thinking that, you know, I think a lot of times, and social media has done this to a certain degree, has got everyone chasing. I'm not sure people are really putting 100% into, like, what they really love to a certain degree and trying to make something of that, versus I'm putting myself out there to look good against my peers, against, like, other people that personal train. My education that I'm giving, is it aimed at the kind of clients you really want to attract, or you aiming at trying to look good against everyone else? Are you trying to, like, almost one up you yourself against everybody else to say, hey, I'm above all this. I just work with these people. I just do this. I run a business. I don't, you know, looking down at people that still teach classes, that still do one-on-ones. And it's like, well, you won't be looking down on that individual if they were coaching LeBron James, but because they're coaching Joe Bloggs, who you've never heard of, it's like, what, you're 15, you're still coaching people? It's like, well, are you taking fully into stock what drives that person to enjoy that work-life balance that doesn't exist? You know, I was reading a thing on, you know, Freddie Roach quite well. You know, he's like, he constantly posts that he's at his most comfortable in the gym and working the corners at weekends still. He doesn't have to be, like, I see him at some of the small shows here in LA, still with his young fucking fighters, you know, 1, 2, 3 pro fights. This guy's could be, well, Pacquiao's retired, but could be, I only, you know, train world champions. I only do the corners 3 or 4 times a year for my big fighters. And yet he's in the corners every fucking weekend, still doing what he loves. He doesn't need to do that. He doesn't need the money. He doesn't need to sit on his reception desk taking $5 a fucking pop for
He's still doing that.
He still does it. He's still there. I mean, he goes, there's 2 gyms now. There's a downstairs small pro gym where they close it now because the wild card was fucking circus. So he's down there a lot more. But yeah, more often than not, when he's not down there, he's up sat on his reception. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think even I got drawn into that. Well, I'm a business owner now. I run a business. I'm above, you know, sounds awful, above training people, above, that's what I have a team for. That's what they do. But I don't fucking enjoy running a business. I actually enjoy fucking coaching people.
Yeah.
So it's been a bit of a fucking eye-opener and a good one in some ways to go, right, okay, do you really need to fucking follow the crowd? And do you really need to have high-profile people to make a lot of money? Does that have to be your crowd? Do you have to only train CEOs? Do you have to only try to train fucking high-level athletes with money, which we've both talked about loads of times on this show, that is really fucking hard to make money at? You know, I was remembering, do you remember fucking, and I'm not going to do this, by the way, this is not where I'm going with this at all, but I was remembering, like, even remember Billy Blanks? Fucking Taco?
Yep.
He was reminding me of, like, he was a fucking high-level Muay Thai fighter. He was decent.
Yep.
But he made his money doing videos back then you know, for fucking Gem Pop, Housewives, fucking Tybo, fucking, and you're like, you know, there's money in everything if you just become the fucking best at it.
Yep.
If you become the best at training beginners, you can make fucking fortunes. If you're willing to drop the ego and go, I'm the best at doing this, rather than I want to be seen as training these people, which I'm not training. And you're almost limiting your own fucking potential and earnings because you're like, yeah, but I don't really want to work with those kind of people. It's like, well, but what are you actually fucking good at? Where is your crowd? What are you actually drawing towards you? And I realized that a lot of my stuff, especially with the fight stuff, is taking beginners from fucking nothing to being somewhat competent, probably similar to what you do with the guys that come for charity boxing nights. A lot of them come literally nothing in 12 weeks. You're ready to do 3-2s, right? There's so much rewarding to that.
I love it. Yeah, love it. Absolutely love it. Yeah, love it.
Of that crowd in the gym is fucking cool. So anyway, that just had me thinking a little bit, and I've been reading a lot of your posts because you've been fucking mental on social media the last few weeks. I don't know, do you even leave the house anymore, and you just post like fucking all of your platforms? You must have someone doing some of this shit for you. Yeah.
No, I do it all myself.
Right.
Do it all myself while I'm cooking dinner and doing bicep curls at the same time. That's how I do it all.
Like I've noticed this last 2 weeks, I've barely fucking posted because I'm busy fucking actually doing shit.
Actually doing, yeah.
Sometimes I'm kind of like, oh, what do I post today? What should I fucking put out there? All I've done is shared stories because I can't be arsed posting because I'm
too busy.
Busy doing some fucking work for a change. But no, one of your posts this last week or so, I'm going to read the question, was a statement actually. The magic you're looking for is in the work you're avoiding. Now, I fucking love that statement, but I kind of hate it at the same time because it makes you question yourself. If you're honest with yourself, like I've had to come to terms with, and this takes me back to like the chasing the online business, which I'm clearly not very good at. I clearly don't like it, and I have a big resistance kind of barrier to doing what appears to be how you need to do it.
Yeah.
It's not me, right? And I've always seen that as that question to a certain degree, like questioning myself, like I'm avoiding this. There's no wonder I'm not getting good at it. There's no wonder I'm not building a business at it. There's no wonder I'm struggling with it. But at what point, when you're talking to, let's say, you mentor a lot of guys that run their own businesses, and that question comes up, you're saying in order to build X, Y, and Z, get more clients in, get this, whatever it is that you're chasing, this is the work you need to do, and you're not doing it, and that's why it's not working. Where do you draw the line between someone who's literally just not seeing the value in that work and not understanding that your business will fail if you don't do that work? Which there's a ton of things on my list that I do to make sure my business stays successful, obviously. But then using the other analogy of like the online stuff, which is for me is another avenue I'm trying to go in. It's not the one thing that's going to save my business. It's another avenue. But clearly I don't like it. Clearly I don't want to do it because I've tried for a year and I fucking hate it. Where you go, okay, maybe you need to change gears on that or accept that's not going to be part of your business and go in a different direction. How do you manage that with people? Because people will always argue with you that they're not avoiding it. Right, it's never their fault.
Yep.
When you have that, what's the distinction you draw when you like post that?
So during the coaching that I do with a lot of the guys that I work with, a lot of the clients that I work with, there's three key elements, really, really simple. We look at a foundation of their health, build their mindset. But the third one, which is the one we usually get to first, is connect with a vision. And it's about really drilling down on what that vision is for your future, whether that's your future in 90 days, your future in 6 months, 12 months, your future in 10 years. And you're absolutely right in that what people will say what they want their future to look like is more often than not really what they want their future to look like. It's what they've been influenced to think that their future should look like or could look like.
Yeah.
The realities of running an online business, there's it's made out that it's, you know, sat on a beach with your laptop, sipping a pina colada or whatever it is you're drinking, cigar in your hand,
Yeah.
living your best life. But what's never put forward is first and foremost that you probably can't see your screen on when you sat on the beach anyway. That's probably the first, you know what I mean? Because it's
not a place to sit and do your
no,
work.
no. So practically, you're not going to see your screen anyway because it's fucking sunny, right? So you can't see your computer anyway. But then the realities of it are long hours, loneliness, a lot of self questioning, a lot of self doubt, and the realities are it is an admin based job. And I will say to people who will often get into that world, go and do recruitment, consulting, because a lot of recruitment consulting companies now will let you work off a laptop and off a phone from anywhere in the world. Yeah, a lot of digital IT sales will let you work off a laptop, off a phone, anywhere in the world, and so what they think the realities of that life are like are not actually what life is like, but also it actually isn't really what they want. When you delve down an awful lot deeper, what they want is social connections, fun, friendship, all that kind of stuff. And an online business doesn't give you those things.
Yeah.
So the reward at the end of it isn't worth it. You can make good money doing it, but you can make good money, like you've said, setting up a HIT class or a boot camp if you want to be a PT with 100 people in. You know, my kickboxing club has got he does it. It's old school the way he does it. You pay your cash. There's no memberships. You go to your classes. You've got a set class. If you don't turn up, you lose your place. Those classes are rammed, and I reckon, without saying too much, I reckon he's doing really good money there. And you know what? For us as a client, as a customer, it's brilliant value for money, and they love it. So the problem is there's a disconnect between what you think you want, what you say you want, and actually what you really want. And when there's the disconnect, ultimately you're not prepared to do the shit work to get there.
Yeah.
When you really, really, really are connected with what you want, you're prepared to dig through the mud to find the diamonds. You're prepared to do the shit. So that the problem is and we could go down a real rabbit hole with this, and maybe we do go down that rabbit hole today, you know, as far as we can time wise anyway. But people are so influenced now between what they think one they want in life, two what life should look like, and what the realities of it will be if they get it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
100%, and I think, like, because I do want to kind of dig on this a little bit, mainly for myself, because you know, you do find yourself going around in circles a little bit, and it is, you know, easy to be influenced on what the outcome looks like it's going to be based on what you see other people doing. When you actually get into the realities of what some of those people's day looks like, if you ever hang out with people that do a lot of stuff online and realize what their day actually looks like, you're like, oh fuck, I'm not sure this is what I really want, like you said. And that kind of almost that trade-off of what you want your life to look like, but what you really enjoy on a day-to-day basis. From a working point of view, like you said, it's all very well seeming like you're free to do your work from anywhere, but if you're not enjoying your work, does it really matter where you are? Right? We all want to be elsewhere sometimes, but you know, that was kind of my realization a little bit, you know, that even just this last few weeks, it's like, well, okay, yes, this is kind of a lot of what I've done my whole fucking life. And I think, you know, having this conversation with someone the other day a little bit, and I think some of this also depends on your age and where you're at with what you're doing and a level of acceptance sometimes. Because I think as you get older, one conversation we were having, and it was almost getting a bit depressing, but it was kind of true. Like when you get into your mid-40s, mid to late 40s or whatever, there's not a lot excites you anymore. And again, it depends on where you're at in your life. I think if you're in your 40s and you've got kids, so you'll know it's a little different. There is a lot more that excites you because now you've got your kids' lives that are growing up and you're involved in that. But for a lot of guys that don't have kids, it's a little different. And without going down the whole mental health issues of guys in the 40s, you start to see a lot of this stuff where you're like, all of a sudden, there's only a handful of things I really like doing. And even those things nowadays versus 10 years, 20 years ago, whatever, I'm not as excited about them as I used to be. I still love training, but it's a habit. It's something I do. Do I love it? Am I as excited about it as much as I was 10 or 20 years ago? Sometimes, depends how my body's feeling. I mean, fuck half the time, so I can't just go in and throw shit around like I used to. I have to fucking think what I'm going to do today. This hurts. This is, which is not as enjoyable as it was, right?
Yep.
So everything you do, relationships, whatever, there's this big feel of I've fucking been there and done all this. What else is there, right? But if you're not into a lot of other things, then what else is there? And I think sometimes kind of bringing yourself back a little bit and going, well, this is still what I love. Keeping yourself in that kind of environment and understanding that as time goes on, your love for something does change. It doesn't mean to say you don't still love it. It's just what you were getting out of it maybe 10 years ago versus now is a little different. Does that come up a lot at all versus like people that are coming to you for business help in their 20s and they've got a vision that maybe they don't even really know what that vision is yet because they're still young versus the guy that's trying to build a lifestyle in their 40s and build that vision that they think they know what it is, but they don't. And now you're battling with someone a bit older, maybe a bit tired and not got the level of enthusiasm that they really need that they would have maybe had in their 20s, but now it's a bit harder. Like that's got to be a different battle mentoring, business people, especially people newer to business.
Yeah, you're absolutely right in that. It depends where people are in their life. My program's called Maps because it's people's own individual map of the world, and it's where their map of the world is right now. And like you say, those things change. Life changes. We all change, and that's okay as well. But yeah, I think obviously it's hard to make a broad statement about everybody, but normally younger people, like you say, they're heavily influenced by materialistic things, whether that's living in a certain location, Dubai, the States, etc., driving a certain car, wearing certain clothes, wearing a certain watch. That will all give them status. It will alter their state of mind and give them more self-esteem, more power, more self-efficacy, and they're the things that they want. Those things are addictive, whereas actually a lot of people who perhaps in their 40s onwards have had those things, got those things, earned money. What they realise is that those things are often, in terms of the high that they give you, it's often temporary, it's often short-lived. Some of these people have then, not all of them, but they've then, because they essentially, like the drug, the state of mind alteration, the dopamine hit from a fast car wears off. So then they need a faster car, or then they need a younger, then they need a more expensive watch, or if they've got a partner, they need a younger partner or a better looking partner. And it then eventually can become quite destructive. And so quite a lot of them will have a realization point, and therefore then you actually stripping it right back. And what you then doing is you're getting them to dig deep. And I'm going to answer your actual initial question in a second, and the statement. You're getting them to dig deeper into what they really want and what really matters. So the statement, the magic you're looking for is in the work you're avoiding. What a lot of people will think is that is, what tasks am I avoiding? Am I avoiding doing my accounts, or is it like you say, social media? And it is all of those things. But for me, what it is going inward on yourself, going deeper in on yourself, And the true work, particularly as you get older, you realize the true work, it's on you. And you realize you understand that you can't be happy all the time because that's life. But actually you can get to a place of contentment. And what is really cool is if you can get to a place in your work where you're serving others, you're helping people, you're making a difference, and you're living with your purpose. And if that is teaching cookery online, then that's cool. But if doing videos aren't your thing and the whole content creation is not your thing, that you can live that purpose by opening up a little cafe or kitchen or whatever, and doing it that way, and living your mechanism that way. And if you still want holidays and the ability to travel and all that, well, then you've got to. The challenge is staff, but there's challenges in online as well. Can you ever take a break if you're online? What if you want to go on holiday and leave your phone in the room?
Yeah.
So,
and can you even do that? I mean, I've done it whereby, like, you do it and it feels great for an hour or so, and then all of a sudden you're starting to be like, fuck, I wonder what's building up. Like, what am I going to go back to when I put my phone back home? What am I going to have to deal with?
Yeah, what am I missing out on? What am I losing clients? Am I losing money? This, that, the other. So, to get to the term I like to use is, and this is not my term. That I came across this the first time from a famous martial artist who Jeff Thompson, who's written a load of books and all that kind of stuff. Jeff Thompson, in his book Warrior, called it self-mastery. And for me, to simplify that, it's getting to a place of contentment, and getting to a place of that. One of the big markers for me was the whole Sunday anxiety thing.
Oh, fucking hell, yeah.
Yeah, we've joked it a load of times, and to be clear, it would be great to if the weather in the United Kingdom was better. And there's definitely.
I'm in these fucking mountains and shit. I'm like, fair play, it looks great, but not for me.
Oh, mate, fucking, it's good fun and it is good. But let me tell you,
you've all got on, and I'm like, yeah, that's too okay.
Yeah. One of my military pals said to me a long time ago, and I found there was two key statements he said to me with that. The first one was, there's no such thing as bad weather, only bad kit. Yeah. And I found that out quickly, because if you've got the fucking wrong kit up there, you're in the shit. And then the second one was, buy cheap, buy it twice, which is true as well. So you fucking don't stay up there at the top eating your sandwiches. I promise you. You either eat them a bit before you get there or a bit after, because it's fucking freezing. But yeah, I mean, I know I've gone off on one there, but I don't. It's all right. I've got to a place with life, and I've done the exact same as you, mate, in that, have we got to have more followers? Have we got to have a big online business? Have we got to do this? Have we got to do that? And actually, what I got to, for me, and what I often, and you're right, a lot of the people I work with are extremely wealthy, and but what they're not is content. And if you can get to that place where on a Sunday you're looking forward to getting up on a Monday. On a Monday, you're looking forward to getting up on a Tuesday. You love what you do. I think you've cracked it. Obviously, we're living in financially difficult times, so we've got to pay our bills. We've got to make our money. But for me, if I can earn a good chunk of money being super happy generally, because we're never always happy, or I could earn double being utterly miserable, there's no choice for me. So I have no interest in the pathway that society tells me I could and should be following. I find my own path, and you do that by digging inwards onto yourself. You dig into what your true values are. You are a coach at heart. That's when you boil it down. Yes, you built a business, and we got to make our money, diversify our portfolio, make our money work for us, all those kind of things. But if you and me, if we delve right back to where our happiest times were, and I'm arguably paraphrasing for the both of us here, it was in them classes holding pads and having a laugh and dicking about and having a social time where people were laughing and joking and getting a sweat on.
Yeah, I mean, it's the one time. I don't. You probably feel the same a little bit. Like I think for you, even presenting and stuff like that. When I'm presenting and I'm doing things and I'm teaching education, I'm doing classes. It's the one time in the day that I'm not thinking about money.
Yeah, you're just in it. You're just doing it. You're in your flow.
Yeah, and you're like, fuck. I mean, and you know, I don't take money in my own business as such. I don't even fucking know how my body works properly, to be honest. So luckily, money just turns up into the bank account, and I'm like, oh, that's fucking good.
That's Danny's job, yeah.
Yeah, don't say that. Fucking hell, she'll listen. No, I mean, the whole team can kind of do a lot of stuff now, but it is, you know, I'm still the old school person that's like, someone will walk past the fridge with a bottle of water, go put that on my account. I'm like, put it on a piece of paper. I'm like,
yeah,
someone put that through later because I don't know how to fucking do it.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I think like what I've kind of learned and taken from this, and you just reminded me of a book I was listening to as well. I can't remember the fucking name of it, but it was digging into exactly what you're saying of like, you can dig into someone's business and at the same time you need to really dig into the person.
Yep.
Because I think we all get influenced, and me definitely, by, I remember when I first started a business and over the last 5-6 years owning a business, the question keeps coming up of, okay, you'll learn how to do everything, but pass on all the tasks that you don't like doing.
Mm-hmm.
You that to other people, or you hire people to do those things. What no one ever fucking tells you to do or tells you to take a look at, especially if potentially, and I've avoided this ever since I really started hybrid. You know this. I never started hybrid to be the face of it, because there's a lot of pressure comes with that. I think when you build a business, it's twofold. You're taught a lot to try and build a business that doesn't rely on you, and that's what I wanted to do. Does this stand alone without me?
Yep.
Right? Hybrid, the brand. I'm not on everything. My face isn't on everything. People know it's mine, but they don't necessarily. Again, people that come to sign up don't know who I am. You know, they see our ads, they see hybrid, they see the community, they see the gym. They don't come and sign up for me, which is a good thing, because also at the same time there's that ego thing, right? If you are your business and people don't like it, then it means they don't like you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So shit, do I avoid that? Or do I lean into it? I've always loved people's businesses that are about the individual. I'm drawn to that. I'm drawn to training in a lot of gyms and places whereby the owner's larger than life, and that person being in there around that place draws me to go even more, right? And I have that in me, but I've always been a bit fearful of making it about me, because my own ego is probably not quite as, you know, strong as I like to think it is. If I think people don't like me, I start questioning me, and then it all goes down this whole other fucking rabbit hole of like, it's all connected. People don't come to our business because they don't like me, and I can't fix that, right?
Yeah.
Whereas getting back on the gym floor and doing the classes and all this just reminds me that actually, you know, whilst my business does stand alone, it's also better with me, being around more, doing more, being part of that whole atmosphere, community. I build that and create that. And what I've never thought about is when everyone starts doing these lists of what to give away, when it's your business, the question never comes up of, do I give away the running of the fucking business to a certain degree? And I don't mean that someone's going to boss me about and tell me what to do, but what I mean is that my business isn't big enough for this. But at some point you go, right, does the business need a CFO type person? A CEO, whatever type person? Okay, whilst they might not change me as a person, allows me to go about doing my thing, but also advises on, yeah, I'll take away dealing with the money, how we're going to make money, how we're going to do all these other things, and almost runs the business for you so you can be the face of the business. If that kind of makes sense. Or is this what you want to do? I think where I got stuck, and a lot of people get stuck, is you're trying to be the face of the business, you're trying to run the business, you're doing classes and PT, and you're kind of like, what the fuck is my role? And it's hard to enjoy any one of them when you're mixed up in it all. Versus going, hey, you run my fucking business. I'm going to do all this because this is the face of the business. Obviously, I know how I want it to look and and I'll still have a big say in this. But the actual nitty gritty of the finances, admin coming to me with, if we make this switch, this will fucking do this, and this will maybe make us more money here. I think we should adjust this package to this. All these other fucking things, like, give that shit away.
Yeah.
Which is hard because I know more than anyone else about my own business. It's like, well, do you?
Yeah.
Do you need to? Right? I might go, I'm not sure about that. But I think the hard thing is getting your business to a point where you can take a risk on someone to do that. Is the other fucking hard part. But the book I was talking about almost the exact same thing. This guy is kind of mentoring this long-term friend. I don't know if it was real or whether this was just part of an analogy, but it was the same old story. The old school story was this woman's gran had taught her how to make pies. And she then wanted to use their gran's recipe and take over the pie shop. She used to help her gran in the pie shop as a kid, and this grew. And I wanted to then continue the business and make pies and And when she opened her own pie business, it wasn't very successful. And what she found was, as always, once she was running the business, she was having to do everything. So at 4 o'clock, making all the pies, then trying to sell them all day, then trying to close up. And when she tried to hire people to help make the pies and do all this stuff, it just wasn't as good. She didn't have any systems in place. And the mentoring was all a lot of stuff that you talk about was, okay, well, because you got basically gone away from the bit that you actually love.
Yeah.
And
cooking the pies, yeah.
The fucking pies.
Yep.
But when you build a business, you'll go, well, this now needs to be someone else's job. It's like, well, does it? Because what draws people into that business is the home cooked pie that you make. That's the fucking thing. Now, how you scale that comes into a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
But the long and short of it was very much, you need to hire someone to run your business. It's still your business, but what you love doing is that part of the business.
Yep.
And you need to somehow keep hold of that. Otherwise, you end up doing something you don't love, which is running a business, which I think is where I've got to a bit in my career. Like, I don't enjoy running a business. I really fucking don't. I enjoy the rewards.
That's very, mate, and it's very, very common. Do you know who springs to mind here when you say all this? And I think he's absolutely, and it's not without his problems, I'm sure, and behind the scenes. I don't know him personally, but Wim Hof.
Yeah.
Because Wim Hof's kids run his business, don't they?
Yeah.
And Wim just busts around the world, playing guitar, walking up hills in his trunks. I mean, he's not walking up hills in a North Face coat like me. He's harder than I am, definitely. He can eat his sandwiches at the top of the hill. There's no doubt about that. But you know, Wim's just exactly that. He loves people. He loves having a drink. He's a crazy Dutchman. Not that I'm calling all Dutch people crazy, but I am. Yeah. He's I've been, and he's a crazy Dutchman. He loves drinking, loves playing his guitar, and he loves teaching his method. And he's been super lucky. And it's definitely, you know, now I think about it even more, it has brought about a few problems, no doubt about it. But it's his kids that turned it into a huge business and drove that business forward. Wim's not sat around boardroom tables and doing financial projections and all that kind of stuff. He's out getting people in cold water and doing fucking shamanic chants and all that shit that he loves to do and living his best life. You know what I mean? His kids are the CEO, CFO, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So, but not everybody has that luxury, do they? But I think it's a really common journey. It's a really common journey with anybody who's got a skill, whether that is a trainer, coach, or a chef, or a mechanic, let's say, or any number of jobs where you do well, hands-on, doing the job. Of course, we want to progress in life. We want to make money, whether that's for ourselves, for our other half, our kids, whatever. So we scale, and actually, what ends up happening is we don't do the thing we loved anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. and it's super common, and I absolutely agree. I think, of course, you know, your job, you're going to have a meeting with a bank manager, or you're going to have an idea what your finances are. But I think the more we can stay connected to our true deep purpose and our true reasons why we did it in the first place, I think the better. And I think, you know, one of the great examples. In fact, I'm not going to say that, but I can think of a boxing example who's done really well with it. But Hybrid Gym in LA is way better. That's the one. But yeah. It's super common, and we get swept along this wave of who we should be, what we should be doing. You know what? I had a fucking fantastic holiday in Dubai last year, as you know. I had a great time. Can't wait to go back. Do I want to go and live in Dubai? No. Do I wish there was more sun? Yeah, definitely. You know, so, and excuse the pun, I'm really clear with my business, and like you say, I love public speaking and stuff. I just like talking to people, and fucking maybe I like the sound of my own fucking voice too much, but there we go. My business is a really hybrid business between doing bits that I can do remotely and travel in, but then equally where I'm there in person. It took me a long time to get to that.
No, well, I was just going to say, I mean, that when we were talking, you know, when I was back in the UK a few weeks ago, and you were telling me about your next venture, business wise, and you're very good at, you know, organizing events and in the event space. But what I like about what you've done with your business is exactly what you just said. You do just enough online stuff because it allows you a broader spectrum of people to get your message out to.
Yep.
But at heart, you do all the hard work behind the scenes to do as much in-person stuff as possible.
Yep.
Because without the in-person buzz, I don't think you'd love doing what you do.
Absolutely.
Right? And I think, I don't know if it was me and you talking about this the other week. I think it probably was, because I don't know who else I've talked about this to. But, you know, during fucking COVID and all this other stuff, and I know you've had to do presentations to businesses through Zoom, it's not the fucking same. You know, you've got 20 fucking faces on a screen or more, and you sit there and look, it's time-wise, it's easier money, right? You can charge whatever. You know, you talk to a big group of people, you start on hour, 2 hours, you're done. There's no travel, there's no expenses, you know. So from that point of view, I kind of get where a lot of people went that way and went, well, fuck, from a financial point of view, this is great. But you can't beat the fucking in-person.
No.
People making an effort to get there.
Yep.
The conversations that go on before it starts, definitely the conversations after, and the networking side of it's fucking invaluable. Like, I hate, generally, well, you know, I say I'm not fucking social, and I'm not half the time unless I'm in my own element and environment. But even just a couple of weeks ago, going to the Fit Expo in LA around the corner, and I was there all fucking weekend. But it was fucking great in some ways. I mean, I was there 6 hours both fucking days doing nothing to do with business. You know, Danny was competing on the Saturday, and one of my other guys was competing on the Sunday. And fucking powerlifting is the most long-winded sport for 9 reps in living history.
Yeah.
But the people I was bumping into and talking to and seeing what was going on in some of the stores and just seeing that buzz of people being back in a big fucking environment. And there's a load of shit at these expos, don't get me wrong, but it's a bunch of people that are all into the same thing. All into training, all into it. And it just reminded me, as much as I've spent a lot of time actually shying away from things like expos and shit because they do my head in, you realize how useful they are when they've been taken away and how useful the in-person experience is. Like, I could not get the same buzz. I remember even with classes during COVID, and fair play to the team over in Hong Kong, they did a fucking amazing job, you know, doing online classes. For you know, but I was like, I couldn't think of anything fucking worse than trying to teach a class through a fucking computer screen.
Yeah.
Versus that fucking energy I get in the gym when I've got fucking people in there, you know, fucking interested, listening to every word you fucking say to it.
Yeah.
When it comes to technique, and then smashing out stuff on the bags, and the motivation towards the end when everyone's fucking tired and still putting it in. Like, you can't beat that. And I'm a bit like you, like, I like talking. I like passing on knowledge. I
Mhm.
like educating. So even team training here, it's small. You know, I've got 10 coaches, but the time just flies by. I enjoy fucking passing that knowledge on.
Yep.
I could do that in a bigger environment. I undoubtedly, but that would be again another thing to push more towards. And my head's going back more towards in person and realizing, if I want to travel a bit, it doesn't have to be online.
Yeah.
You can get back to traveling and fucking, and doing in-person stuff. And if anything, it's probably cooler. You get to travel the fucking world. You do a 2-day seminar.
Yep.
You meet a ton of people. And then you're back home in your comfortable environment. It's not like, I have to go and live in fucking Dubai for 6 months.
Yep.
Or I have to go and live here or whatever. You can travel and still have your base. So that's where my head's gone more recently. And it's took me to get back involved. It's took me to shake up my own habit of, I only work in the morning and I'm asleep in the afternoon, and that's just me. It's not just me. I can fucking do stuff at night. I've got the energy when I'm doing something I fucking love.
Yep.
I realized a lot of what was happening with me sometimes was my habit came out of, I'm not loving what I'm doing as much anymore. And, I'll go home, chill, fucking rest a bit and do my shit mornings. And actually it was mainly just wasn't really enjoying what I was doing. And I'm enjoying it, even though I don't want to do it at night, I'll do it because I like it. And when I'm in it, the buzz, and I come home and fucking, I'm kind of wired for an hour. So I've gone off on a big fucking tangent. I've had way too much coffee this morning. But I think someone said to me once, which struck a chord with me, if you want to know what your calling is in life and what you really like doing, ask yourself how everything you do makes you feel after you've done it. And I know you're the same here. So when I give talks or do a seminar or teach a class, I'm buzzing after it.
Yep.
It's that feeling after. Do you feel drained by what you've just done, or do you feel energized?
Yep.
If you feel energized, that's what you should be leaning into, because that's clearly what you like doing. Everything's tiring. Everything.
Yeah.
When you've just fucking trained a client who's kind of draining, then you feel drained after. Or like me, one-on-ones leave me feeling drained, because I don't get the energy buzz.
Yep.
Classes give me the energy buzz.
Yep.
Lecturing, teaching gives me the energy buzz. And afterwards, I'm wired. Now, that comes with other problems. I can't fucking sleep and I'm fucking hyper and da-da-da. But I try and teach people that's the feeling you should be looking for. If you're feeling drained after everything you do, then you need to change what you're fucking doing.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. People will come back to me and say, they may listen to this and say, it's all right for you, and I'll say, no,
hate that.
no,
You
I'll get it that you might not be able to make a change today, right now. Yeah. I get it, but build a roadmap, build a map. That's my plan. My program, my plan. Build a roadmap. Okay, it might take a little longer, but let's work towards something. I think it was, what was it? Jim Rohn said. And I forget the stats, but it was a very famous quote. What was it? He said, spend so much of a percentage of your time working on your day job and the rest of it working on your dream job.
Yeah.
So I can't remember what the stats were on that, but it was definitely Jim Rohn who said it. And so, yeah, if you've got, kids and bills and all that, which we all have, I get that you can't always make that change right now. But you can make that change, and I think one of the things that to go back to before and perhaps to close it off, that is the difference between the 40-odd-year-old and the 20-odd-year-old is you do realise life is passing by at 40-odd years old, and you start looking at the clock then and thinking, fucking hell, actually, this is moving on here, and when your mum or your dad or whoever, you say to you, oh, it gets quicker as you get older, and you used to be like, oh, shut up, whatever. Actually, at 20-odd-year-old, you think you've got forever, and there's an argument you have got forever, but the reality is you haven't. 40, 50-year-old, you start looking and thinking, shit, actually, watches don't make me happy. What makes me happy is doing something that's close to my core every single day. It's my purpose, it's my calling, and that might be through whatever it is. And in my mind, our purpose and callings through training people, like you say, through combat and pads, and in your case, jiu-jitsu and all that kind of stuff. That's our calling. That's where our juices flow. That's where our energy flows. And yeah, absolutely, we can run our business, but equally, we in a way that we love and doing things that we love. Well, if we're not, for me, if I'm doing something that makes me miserable, not doing it. If the people make me miserable, not doing it. And I'm really, really clear on that.
Yeah, and I think, look, yeah, and to wrap that up, I mean, fucking some awesome advice in that today, and that's why I wanted to ask you that question, because again, it's something that I think, first of all, we all battle with. I definitely battle with that, arguing with myself about, what I'm actually really good at and what I really enjoy and what I feel I should be actually doing. And it's like, well, there is no should. Like, just do what you fucking like and work out a way to make it work, right? In its most simplistic kind of format. But no, I think, that even just that sentence at the end, yeah, if it's making you miserable, why are you fucking doing it?
Yeah.
And actually owning that, though. I think
Yep.
a lot of us say this stuff and it's not making me happy, but we're not willing to make the fucking change, and we just
Correct.
think about it.
Correct.
Which we all do. I catch myself doing that a little bit, and it's kind of like, okay, got to kick yourself up the arse and just be like, right, why the fuck am I putting up with
Yeah,
that?
I've had pushback on this, mate. But I say to people, I've had people push back and say, don't agree, and I say, well, that's cool. I didn't ask whether you agreed or not, but I always say to them, a problem without a solution is just a moan.
Yeah, yeah.
So if they're not happy, say, tell me the solution. Well, I don't know. Well, go and have a think about it and come back when you do.
Yeah. That's true. People are very quick to moan about their stuff, and then when you try to help or give some advice, it's like they don't want to listen.
Absolutely, yeah.
Stop fucking moaning then, right?
Stop moaning then.
Yeah. All right. Look, that was awesome. I appreciate your input on that. I think that's going to help a ton of fucking people. So we'll call it there. Thank you everybody for listening. It's been the Winning Edge podcast again. We've been a little hit and miss the last month or so we'll try and get this back on track, because I know we've got at least 7 or 8, keen listeners that have probably missed.
We recorded a really fucking good episode together in Manchester, didn't we? And talking and sticking to what we're good at, we fucked up the file, didn't we? And it corrupted it. So
the whole thing fucking didn't work. So yeah, we'll stick to letting someone else put these out, and I'll stick to making sure that I'm in the same fucking place with the same Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Been awesome as always, and we'll catch up with everybody next time. Thank you for listening.
See you guys.